People, I'm coming to the light. Is everyone following me? Or is it all going bouncer like good college lectures? Yes, no? Which part is the no for, sir? Okay, thank you. So you are responsible for the class when I ask the questions. Okay. What is the danger in this? We agree with this? Social media, today the internet, what was communication? A brand, a company, a business talking to its customers meant I'm talking at you, not talking with you. These are not people conversing. This is you listening to someone. That has been replaced with a customer talking with the brand or the business. Yes? That was the case to some extent earlier also. Brands used to reach out, connect with people, talk to them, get an idea, but now it's completely like that. The danger or the promise here lies that it's all public. When somebody screws up, and everyone screws up because we are all human, when somebody screws up on the internet today, this would be an account manager, this would be a communications guy, this would be a cashier at one of the outlets of your chain. The person who owns the business is one of the last people to find out what happened on the internet. Do we understand what I'm talking about? Okay. If something happens at McDonald's, okay, with a customer who uses the internet, is it going to get on the internet and on television first, or will the CEO find out about it first? Today it happens the other way around. The people will know about a problem, it will spread, it will go what we call viral before you have time to react to it. Traditionally you had a few hours. Anybody remember when Tata Nano caught fire? You have heard about the story? They took about 2.5 days to come back with an answer. Isn't that legitimate time for them to investigate and understand what caused the issue? But in those 2.5 days, the entire media, people, internet, everyone's talking about it. So the damage is done. That is part of the danger of everything happening publicly. It happens way too fast as compared to traditional ways on how it used to happen and how you can respond to it. So what is usually clubbed under outreach or public relations, that was for managing information. Today, that is a part of marketing. I can't have one person handling my marketing, one person handling my sales, one person handling my PR relations or public relations, and my business. Now all four have to work together. The business and what it's about, the owners have to work with all of these, keeping in mind that everything goes out together. Yes, I'll actually show you examples of how this has happened. So, this is why you are here. Anybody want to answer why you paid money, or if you didn't pay money, why are you spending your Saturday listening to me? What do you think social media offers to businesses? I'll tell you if you're wrong, of course. Scale. How do you define scale, sir? Sorry. How do you define scale, sir? Your voice travels well. My mistake. Okay, so because of internet connectivity, you now have access, which otherwise required you to be in a major commerce center. Earlier, if you did marketing, you needed an office in Bombay or Delhi, right? Today, you can manage it from Nagpur, or you can just go on a holiday to a hill station. As long as you can get network, you can manage your business. My office is right there in my bag for the last 4 years because of that reason. All I need is net connectivity and a plug point for the power. Anything else? Scale is one thing. What if I don't need scale? What if my customers are directly available to me? That's also possible.
I can define various parameters here and choose my audience. I don't want to reach out to people above 24.
Right. Okay. So
Customize, basically.
Customizing and capability to control the audience you reach out to. When somebody, with a lot of money of course, when somebody places a front page ad on the Times of India, who are they targeting? Everyone who possibly reads the front page of Times of India. Does everyone here who has picked up a Times of India page actually looked at the front page lately? So that defeats that purpose accidentally. But anyway, if your business is targeting someone who is a part of that audience, before social media, before digital, did you have a way of finding them out? Reaching out to them? Social media allows you to do that. At the end, marketing costs money. All good things come at a price. But today at a smaller price, you can target and reach out to only the people who you want to sell to. If I'm selling toothbrushes for babies between 2 to 4 months, okay, I'm assuming they have teeth, I don't really know, but still, then I will target mothers and fathers of kids or babies and nobody else, right? Me targeting a 15-year-old who's studying in college or in high school, is that relevant? Am I planning ahead for when he's going to have a baby? Isn't that a bit too much forward thinking? But when I'm placing an ad in the front page of a newspaper, I don't have any control left. That control as a function of the people you can reach is what is interesting about digital. So you can reach more people, but only the people who you want to. So at Digital Vidya, for example, we target a lot of people. Who can benefit from digital marketing? Everyone who has a digital presence, as I mentioned. Who is ready to spend money? Not everyone yet. Obviously, so I only target people who I know, who I've understood will be able to spend money to attend my workshop and actually leverage that. I only target those people with advertisements, with my messaging. Let's understand how I do that. So reach is one of the most important things that digital medium offer. Social media offers you even better than digital. Anybody understand what I mean by digital? I've said it, I don't know, 100 times already. Right? What medium are you using today that isn't digital? Okay, it's completely free of digital. So pretty much everything is empowered by digital today. If there's a newspaper, every article will have an email address for the reporter who's doing it. There'll be a plug for the website for everything. Every story on Times will have a link to see it on its live application. Okay, so there's a standard question that gets asked by a lot of people. Will digital replace traditional? It doesn't intend to. It has already merged with it. It's augmenting it. It's adding value to it. Digital's goal is not to replace. It is doing that. Anybody heard of Newsweek, the magazine? It's no longer available in print. They shut down. It didn't make sense for them to keep printing it. They're making more money now via the digital channels. Certain cases it will replace where the cost is more beneficial. But the goal of digital is to make a better experience at a lesser price, which is what business is all about. So reach is one thing that comes with digital. The second is interaction. That's the real power. If you are in a business of making jalebis and you have the option of adding kesar or elaichi, if you're a halwai, if you're Haldiram, I hope nobody here is from Haldiram, don't beat me up later. If you have the option of choosing between product A, which is jalebis with elaichi, and product B, which is jalebis with kesar, how are you going to determine whether you choose A or B? Traditionally, you make both, you sell both, the one that sells more stays, the one that sells less goes. Correct? How do you understand this? You have to first invest in those things, try it out. If you were doing the same thing with a Facebook page, would you have to make that many kilos of jalebi? You can just ask customers. How effective it would be is a different question. How many of those 17-year-olds who are on your Facebook page are actually going to pay for the jalebis you're asking about? That is still something we'll come to later. But at the end of it, interaction and talking to your customers, reaching out to them, which was not an option earlier, is now available to you. And most importantly, the one thing which is missing from traditional media, what Sir mentioned as the 50-50. 50% of advertising work, 50% doesn't. You don't know which part works. Digital promises that. I don't pay 75 lakh rupees to do an ad on the front page of Times of India and understand how many people saw it. Times of India can't tell me how many people saw my ad. I'm paying that money, guessing that this is the readership, these many people may possibly see what we call in advertising opportunity to see. That's what I'm selling everything in media for. When you come to digital, you pay for the number of people who saw, for the number of people who clicked. Is that a massive enough shift from how many may have seen to how many people actually saw? It's all measurable. It's all there. The challenge comes down to, can you translate that? Once again, as you're selling jalebis, I like jalebis a lot, as you can tell. That was a joke. Don't be so serious, people. So if you're selling jalebis, if you had 4 million people visiting your page, it doesn't make a difference if you didn't sell a single jalebi. Right? When we get into the flux of digital marketing and page views and Facebook fans, this is something we tend to forget. The person who's helping you with digital marketing, their goal is to help you with digital marketing, not to help you with your business. That is your job. You still have to understand, which is one of the reasons why you're here, on how to translate that entire medium online into business. If the digital marketer knew that, they would get into competition with you. You wouldn't pay them money to do stuff. Please realize that. That's a huge thing to remember. Okay, so results is something which is very, very important, and the reason it's gray is once again my inside joke, because results exist, but half the time they're not captured because we haven't defined our results well enough. We may say that I got 5 million page views, but if you're selling hammam soap, does that mean people are buying hammam soap because you have a Facebook page or a website? That translation is your responsibility. So you have data, you have information, you have to translate that into business action. Everyone with me so far? Anyone find this interesting and relevant? Some people do, thankfully. So what I'm going to do is, social media is a very vague term. Okay? I sort of jumped the gun when I said there are 257 social media sites. I'll show you a very simple short video. We call it social media in plain English. Wikipedia has this fun option called Wikipedia in fun English, in plain English, which explains in simple human terms, without any jargon or without any technical terms, what I mean by social media. So let's watch the video.
I'm sure you've heard the buzz. Social media may be the next big thing. What's it all about? This is social media in plain English. Let's take a visit to Scoopville, a town that's famous for ice cream. For over 20 years, Big Ice Cream Company has been making high-quality ice cream with a big factory in town. A few years back, the company did focus groups and found out that they could maximize profits by offering 3 flavors: chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. The residents of the town were content. They never thought it could be different. Then something happened in Scoopville. A new invention came to town. Suddenly, everyone can make their own ice cream for only a few dollars. This changed everything. The Smiths decided to make pineapple ice cream. The Joneses made ice cream with pecans. Soon, every kind of ice cream imaginable was being made by Scoopville's residents at very little cost. Of course, some ice cream was more popular than others, and that was okay. Sylvia's pickle ice cream had a very small but loyal following. That was fine. She only needed enough income to buy ingredients for her next batch. Jarrett's red velvet ice cream became so famous, he created his own store. Over time, people started to think differently about ice cream. It didn't always come from a factory. It also came from friends and neighbors. It became something to share, something to bring people together, something to celebrate. Big Ice Cream Company still made the best vanilla around, and to their surprise, demand even grew. But it was the unique, original, and authentic flavors made by the residents that brought people to Scoopville. When they arrived, however, there seemed to be a problem. There were too many flavors. Visitors felt overwhelmed. They needed ways to find the new, the popular, the flavors that were interesting to them. Franklin had an idea for his ice cream. Outside his house, he erected a board and invited his customers to share their thoughts on his ice cream. They could use words to describe it, stars to rate it, and leave messages for others. People loved it. At a glance, visitors could tell what his ice cream was all about and learn from people like them. Over time, each resident had their own board. Sylvia's board showed that her pickle ice cream didn't please everyone, but was very unique and interesting. Jarrett's board overflowed with positive reviews and ratings. Soon, a few things became clear. First, their ice cream got better because they could learn directly from customers. Second, free customer reviews were more valuable than costly advertising. And third, the boards created a way for customers to find exactly what they wanted. The combination of new technology and new ways to work with customers helped the residents feel like a unique community. So, this is social ice cream, by the people, for the people. It turns out that ice cream and social media have a lot in common. Today, everyone has a chance to make their own flavors, thanks to free tools like blogs, podcasts, and video sharing. Plus, we now have new ways for real people to play a role in providing feedback, organization, and promotion. Whether you're a big, established company, an individual with loyal fans, or simply someone with ideas and opinions, social media means new opportunities to create and communicate with people that care. New tools are arriving in cities and towns around the world. When this change comes to your neighborhood, the choice is yours. What flavors will you make? I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Social Media in Plain English on the Common Craft Show. One more thing. The Common Craft store now offers downloadable versions of our videos for use in the workplace. Find them at commoncraft.com/store.
I like making people exercise their hands a bit. 2 people understood the video, what it was talking about. 3 people. Anybody else was watching? No? Okay. We'll have to reschedule the next sessions. The whole idea is there's a lot you can do with social media. This is trying to simplify the goal that you're trying to do. Define what social media is. It isn't just Facebook. It isn't just Twitter. It isn't just WordPress.com, any one of those fancy sites. The idea is involving people. You can take your product and make it social as long as it's centered around the customer. Okay, so what the book I mentioned, Baked In, that starts with this assumption. All of us get into business for various reasons. Sometimes it's passed on to you by generations. Sometimes it made sense, that's why you get into it, because you see a market opportunity. Once in a while, you're stupid enough because you saw a problem and you want to solve it. That's this small tribe called entrepreneurs, who want to solve a problem, who think of that and try to create something to solve that problem. When you're doing that, marketing usually should not be a challenge. Do you understand why? When you're solving a problem, when Carvale got created, when Redbus got created, they spent the first 7 months trying to understand what they're doing. Carvale pivoted 8 times. Flipkart changed its business model 7 times, sorry. The 8th time it actually worked and they got funded. So the whole idea is when you're trying to solve a genuine problem, the market is already there. Then it's no longer marketing in terms of selling your product. It's just letting the people know that your products exist. They're 2 hugely different challenges. Do we all have a need for Coca-Cola? Or are they generating desire for Coca-Cola? So that's marketing. Do we all have need for a toothbrush? I should hope so. So when you're selling a toothbrush where none existed before,